Thank you for listening to the Matt's Movie Reviews podcast, available on Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, and Stitcher. Also, please follow Matt's Movie Reviews on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Reddit, Instagram, and MeWe. And of course, be sure to visit mattsmoviereviews.net for the latest reviews, top 10 lists, and more. Now, on to the show.
Théo Daguerre, bonjour. Cet appel d'offres vous a pas trop effrayé?
Pas du tout, pourquoi?
Quand même. Le leader mondial du jeu de société qui veut rénover son vieux manoir pour en faire un lieu dédié au plaisir du jeu, ça ne doit pas vous arriver tous les jours dans votre agence, je me trompe? Bienvenue dans le manoir Daguerre.
Bouge pas, sale garce! Peut-être repasser, si vous êtes en pleine réunion de famille.
Le vendredi chez les Daguerre, c'est...
Meuble party!
César Daguerre, enchanté. Vous avez 5 chances sur 6. Vous gagnez, vous avez l'appel d'offres.
Vous fichez de moi, là.
C'est de l'humour. Bon, c'est de l'humour de papa, mais c'est de l'humour.
Il est mort.
Je viens de tuer César. Et je suis parmi vous. Si tu ne me démasques pas, tu meurs. Liste des suspects. Théo, Salomé, Joe, Léla, Armand, Hercule. Vous devrez jouer à 3 jeux.
Amusez-vous bien.
Chaque jeu libérera un indice sur mon identité.
Il y a un tueur fou dans la maison et vous allez jouer à des jeux.
Si tu joues pas, tu meurs.
Tu crois que ça existe, une famille normale? Vous êtes juste la preuve vivante du contraire. Hein.
Vous voulez pas jouer?
Hello and welcome to the Matt's Movie Reviews podcast. I am your host, Matthew Pejkovic, and this is episode number 448. Released in July 28 in Australian cinemas is Murder Party, a French crime comedy that stars Alice Pol as an architect who is thrust into a mystery involving the murder of a board game mogul of whose eccentric family are all suspects. Murder Party dazzles with its sharp wit, vibrant colours, and engaging story. And joining me now on the Matt's Movie Reviews podcast is the director and co-writer of Murder Party, Nicolas Pleskof. Nicolas, I thank you so very much for your time today.
Thank you for having me.
So my first question is, you co-wrote this script with Elsa Marpeau, who a lot of people know as the kind of like the creator of the Captain Marceau series, and she's a writer in her own right. How did you two get together to collaborate with this screenplay that we have in Murder Party?
Yeah, Elsa is a friend of mine first of all, and decided she's one of the best writer of thrillers and polar and whodunits in France. You know, she's very famous for having created, as you say, Captain Marlowe, which is a very famous polar TV show in France. She also writes books and very dark thrillers. And as I wanted to do to write a comedy thriller, I wanted to have someone, you know, who was as good in the popular genre as Captain Marlowe, and with the more auteur or dark genre, which is the books she writes. So for me, when we began writing the script, I was a young screenwriter. I wasn't capable to do such a technique genre by myself, so I asked her to work with me, and that's how it happens. But the fact that she was my friend was a really, really good point for working together. But it's not because she was my friend that I wanted to work with her. It's because she was the best.
When you work with someone like Elsa, and you said before you're a young screenwriter, what lessons do you learn in screenwriting that perhaps you didn't know before that you can take onto a future project?
Yeah, I learned a lot about structure, about the fact that a script is something more than it's more a great built house than a poem. It's you learn that screening is a work. Screenwriting is a work. Screenwriting needs to have a lot of disciplines. It doesn't go against the fact that you create something, that you're an artist, but you have to be really disciplined. And she taught to me that the genre cinema, because Murder Party is a whodunit, is a very coded genre. You have to know the rules for using it and make your own stuff. But first, you have to know the rules to twist them. And she learned to me the discipline side of writing.
Something that's really important in kind of like those whodunits is the setting. And for your movie, you have this beautiful manor that the film is set in. The shots, the interior shots, is that inside the manor as well, or is that something that's done outside in the studio somewhere?
It's half and half. We've been very lucky because I wanted, to find a manor that could play as a big board game and that would look really artificial, really comic-y. I really wanted the place to look like you enter a comic book or a board game. Mm-hmm. And we found this manor in the north of France, which had, I would say, 80% of what we were looking for. We were very lucky. So we shot in situ. We moved it a little. We adjusted it with my set designer, but most of what you see has been shot there. And there are 3 sets that we shot in studio, which are the rooms, the game rooms, mm-hmm. and one more. I think the one I think about, but I cannot tell it because it would be spoiling.
Yes.
So yeah, we've been very lucky to have to find almost the dream place.
When it comes to the house itself, or even the movie, the first thing that really strikes me is the use of color, blues, pinks, reds. Yeah. Was color a motive that you always had in the screenplay, or is that something that comes afterwards when you talk to your set designers and your cinematographer?
I would say both. When I wrote the script, I knew that I wanted the film to look like a living board game. And in board game, you got, I don't know how you say in English, in French, it's les pions.
Pieces?
Yes, the pieces.
Characters?
So, yes, the characters. And I always thought the characters of the films as characters for game. So I knew in my mind that it implies each one has a specific color. Mm-hmm. So I knew I wanted, but the specific color I knew I wanted Jeanne, my hero, to be dark blue because it's kind of a dark and sober color. And her character at the beginning is a little, she's a little, she's very quiet and stressed and she's dark. I wanted Theo to be in red because he represents the desire and the idea of passion for her. And but on a more generic scale, I wanted the film to be colored as if it was almost a cartoon. Almost, as I said, a board game. It was important for me to use the colors that in the most artificial way to make us enter an artificial world, a world so far from the colors of reality that when you enter this place, you just tell yourself, okay, I'm in a game. Everything is a game. Everything is a game. So everything is possible. And the use of colors in the films is mainly to say everything is possible because we are not in a real world.
The Matt's Movie Reviews podcast is brought to you by 80s Tees. 80s Tees is an online retailer of licensed t-shirts and pop culture gear from your favorite movies, TV shows, cartoons, video games, comic books, and musicians. Celebrate your inner 80s nerd and click on the link in the show notes below to get the raddest retro t-shirts delivered to your door. The Matt's Movie Reviews podcast is brought to you by Loot Crate. Founded in 2012, Loot Crate is the worldwide leader in fan subscription boxes. Loot Crate partners with industry leaders in entertainment, gaming, sports, and pop culture to deliver monthly themed crates, produce interactive experiences in digital content, and film original video productions. No matter what you geek out about, Loot Crate has a subscription box for you. To get your very own exclusive collectibles, apparel, and gear delivered to your door, be sure to click on the link in the show notes below. The Matt's Movie Reviews podcast is brought to you by TeePublic. TeePublic is the world's largest marketplace for independent creators to sell their work on the highest quality merchandise. With over 1.2 million designs, TeePublic is sure to have something you love. Speaking of that world building, another thing that was really interesting is the mix of kind of like retro technology with new technology. At first, when I was watching the film, I thought I was watching something that was set maybe in the 60s or early 70s. But then when I saw people using cell phones, I was like, okay, this is definitely modern day. What was the idea in mixing those two different kind of like elements of technology to create kind of like your own, as you said before, your own world? Is that same idea as the color? You just wanted to make something that was on its own unique as a representation of this game?
Yes, it's exactly what I wanted to do. I wanted to create a world which existed only on its own. I wanted to because the script of the film is really crazy. What happens in the film is totally crazy and unbelievable. And I for the viewers to believe in such a Baroque script, I had to create a world that was adjusted to the craziness of the script and of the characters and of the dialogues and of all that happens in the film. So I made this world like I don't know how we say in English, intemporel. When you cut the period, timeless.
Okay.
I wanted to make a timeless set just because if the world in which we are was too precise or too close to reality, we wouldn't believe that everything that happens in it is possible. If you arrive in this manner and you're totally in a precise time, people, you film it with a shaky cam, you don't have additional lights, and people play in a very naturalistic way, you wouldn't believe it. You would just say, I don't believe the story of, the giant murder party with a killer making people play games. I don't believe it. But if you enter a manor which looks like a giant board game with people playing really in an exaggerated way, with costumes really exaggerated too, and with a timeless mood, you say, okay, I'm coming into something that is so far from me that everything is possible.
I like the idea of basing it around board game. I love board games. I have two sons, aged 10 and 6. I won't let them play video games. I just don't like them. There's something about it that really just kind of gets under their skin and becomes addictive. What I like about board games is that it's a communal thing. We can sit around a board. We can play. They love playing versions of Monopoly, Snakes and Ladders, things like this. When it comes to you for board games, what does board games mean to you? Because I know in the movie, the character of Cesar, who's the patriarch, played wonderfully by Eddie Mitchell, he talks about how board games to him is a thing about bringing families together and bringing people together. Is that something that you kind of looked at as well? It's kind of interesting because in this case, you're bringing people together, but at the same time, you're kind of picking them apart as well, which is a very kind of interesting dynamic.
Yes, exactly. The thing with board game, which I love, and escape games, which are for me, the live version of board games today, is that it creates, like little bubbles of fiction between families. When you think of it, it's really strange. It's because you put a piece of paper with little cards and on a table, and suddenly all the family becomes different, and all the deep truths of people just come to life playing board games. When you play board game, you discover one is really jealous, or the other is really greedy, and one just can't stand to lose. And you got around board games, you got a lot of fights or love, and it's like a bubble in which the families come together and kind of fight.
They're competitive,
Yes, and that's why, and that's what I wanted. That's why I found it interesting, because I wanted to put a family in a live board game for them to have their all their emotions multiplied as if they were playing a real one. The loves multiply, the hates multiplied, and game is a way of, when you play with someone, you see the truth of that person. A person who is deep in his game, you see the true personality of him, and I love that. I love it about it.
When it comes to putting together the games in the film, And I mean like the actual board games that this empire has created. There's board games everywhere, and there's posters with board games. Are these based on real games in France, or are these games that you and Elsa made up for the movie?
No, I made up all the games, and of course, you can see references in them, because I wanted to make a movie not too much for the board game nerds, but for the child within everyone. Mm-hmm. So I wanted all the games that are in the film to be reminding some others. So I invented them, but with a lot of models in mind. So the Electro Brain, you can think of Trivial Pursuit, and for the Kill the Bride, it's you can think of The Clue, because who killed the bride? Mm-hmm. So it was really fun to make. But I invented them with a graphic designer, and we wanted to make a game from each decade. So you got the Electro Brain, which comes from the 50s. You got the Kill the Bride from the 70s. So it was kind of fun to play with that.
What's it like watching this movie with an audience? Because when I was watching it myself, I was really engaged with where the story was going. I didn't see the twist coming.
Cool.
and that's fantastic, because you watch so many movies like I do for my work, and it's really good to see something that really takes you by surprise. When you watch it with an audience, what's it like where you kind of see them going on this adventure and then seeing where the film, go, not to give away spoilers, but it does go places unexpected from when watching the movie at the beginning.
Yeah, that was a danger, because I really, from the beginning, I wanted to make a movie with a huge twist. But when you're going to see a whodunit, we've seen so many whodunits that what we want deep within is to be shocked and surprised, and to have a big twist. So when I saw audiences, most of them were laughing because after the twist is the most comedic part of the movie.
Yes.
And they were, I don't know. I've seen it a couple of times with people, and most of the time they were laughing about it. Yeah.
That's excellent. Well, I was laughing as well, and it's a fantastic movie to watch, because it is a comedy, but there's a real sense of drama at the center character, in the character of Jeanne, played by Alice Pol. I think it really is the heartbeat of the film, as well as she's the depth and the momentum of the film at the same time, which is rare to find in a character. And for everyone out there listening, July 28 in Australian cinemas, Murder Party. I really recommend everyone check this out. It's a real fun adventure whodunit. And Nicolas, I thank you so very much for your time today. Congratulations with the movie, and thanks you for talking to me. Thank you for watching the Matt's Movie Reviews channel. Please subscribe for more reviews, podcast interviews, and exclusive content. Also, if you would like to request a review and support my work, please join my Patreon via the link in the description below.